welcome back to Shine Total Wellness. I'm Danielle, and I help women balance their hormones, get pregnant faster, and have healthy and empowered pregnancies. One of the main questions that I get from new clients is, how do I boost my egg quality? And it's a great question. I think there's so much fear around egg quality, especially as we get older. And we have ways to test egg quantity or your ovarian reserve, but right now we have absolutely no idea how many of the eggs that someone has are going to be healthy, are going to be high quality, and able to translate into a viable embryo. So the fear around egg quality is understandable. However, there are steps that we can take to naturally boost egg quality quickly. And in this video, I'm going to cover the top 15 natural tips to boost your egg quality. Now, before we dive in there, I want to cover some basic facts about eggs. Women are born with all of the eggs that we'll ever have. 1 to 2 million eggs is the average at birth. And those eggs age with us. And in fact, by the time we have our first period, we've already lost about half of the eggs that we were born with just through a natural process. And that's nothing to worry about. But we also know that our eggs are one single cell each, and those are cells that we've had our entire life. So just like all of the other cells that we've had our entire life, they're subject to that same cellular or DNA damage and wear and tear that occurs as a process of getting older. So this is a main reason why women want to boost their egg quality, right? That egg is one cell. It's a very important cell that contains half the DNA of a potential future child. So of course you want that cell to be as healthy as possible. And eggs that are poor quality or unhealthy are possibly not going to be able to translate into a viable pregnancy at all, or they might have some sort of genetic or DNA damage. Now, the good news is that a woman's chronological age, the age that you actually are, the number, doesn't necessarily have to correspond to your biological age, the age that your body feels and acts like. So if you follow these natural tips, we're promoting a healthier biological age, regardless of what your chronological age is. Tip number 1 for boosting your egg quality naturally: eat a half to 1 cup of organic berries daily. These can be fresh, they can be frozen. It's going to depend on the time of year. Make sure they're organic because you want to avoid the toxins in pesticides. But berries are very rich in antioxidants, and antioxidants are going to promote healthier cells. So antioxidants are going to help prevent free radical damage, help clean up cellular damage in your cells. And just eating a half cup of berries, it is such a simple way that you can help promote a higher antioxidant status in your body and a better egg quality. Tip number 2. Flavor your food with a variety of herbs and spices. Now, when we're talking about antioxidants, herbs and spices are some of the highest antioxidant foods on the planet. They also come with other wonderful benefits. A lot of them are anti-carcinogenic, anti-inflammatory. So really, when it comes to egg health, we want those antioxidants first and foremost. Go for a variety. So if the only spices you currently have in your spice cabinet are, like garlic, salt, onion, it's time to invest in some more spices that you like. You don't need to eat spices that you don't enjoy. There are so many that have a really high antioxidant status. So some of the biggies are going to be turmeric, clove, parsley, cilantro, rosemary, ginger, cinnamon, sage, cayenne, really any others that you like. It's great to add those into your rotation. Try to be a little heavy-handed with your spices and your herbs when you're cooking and you're seasoning your foods throughout the week. Tip number 3, watch your caffeine intake. You probably are already aware that overdoing the caffeine is not good when you're pregnant, but it's also not great for your fertility health and your egg quality. So specifically when it comes to egg quality, too much caffeine can have a negative impact on the hormones that are responsible for egg maturation. And immature eggs cannot be fertilized, meaning they cannot lead to a pregnancy. So it's a good rule of thumb to limit your caffeine intake to no more than 1 8 to 10 ounce cup of coffee per day. Or if you want a little bit of a bonus, consider switching to green tea or matcha. The green tea and matcha is going to give you way more antioxidants than you're going to get in coffee. And it's also going to give you less of that caffeine, but still enough for a little bit of a boost that usually provides steadier, more stable energy. Tip number 4, and this one is so important, stop smoking. And that means everything, okay? So obviously cigarettes, but e-cigarettes, vaping, marijuana, anything that you might be smoking, it is really, really bad for your egg quality. So a lot of people are under the false assumption that if you switch from cigarettes to e-cigarettes or vaping, you're totally fine. That is not true at all. Unfortunately, e-cigarettes and vapes contain a cocktail of toxins, including volatile organic compounds, formaldehyde, and heavy metals. All of these things negatively impact our fertility health and our egg quality. So if you currently smoke in any form, your number one priority should be to quit before you start trying to conceive. Tip number 5, replace the added sugars in your diet for natural sugars. And added sugars are the man-made processed sugars, things like cane sugar, high fructose corn syrup, dextrose, maltodextrin, and table sugar. Now, those kinds of sugars are in pretty much all packaged and processed foods. And of course, they're going to be in pretty much all sweet foods as well. We do know that dietary sugar harms eggs because it can potentially interfere with egg maturation. And if you have chronically elevated blood sugar, you will have a host of fertility problems. So simply swapping for natural sugars can help manage the amount of sugar that you're taking in, and it has a slightly better effect on your blood sugar. Now, natural sugars are going to be things like dates, coconut sugar, honey, stevia, monk fruit. We don't want to go overboard with those. But if you're swapping the added sugars for those natural sugars, you're going to be doing yourself a favor. And of course, working on blood sugar balance in general. So don't eat those sugars alone. Have them with a meal or snack that contains some healthy fat, some protein, and ideally also some fiber so that we keep your blood sugar nice and stable instead of that roller coaster. Tip number 6, reduce your exposure to xenoestrogens. And xenoestrogens are a class of endocrine disruptors that can mimic and interfere with estrogen in your body. Now, when it comes to egg quality, xenoestrogens can disrupt follicle growth and egg maturation, and studies show that they might even play into early miscarriage. So, xenoestrogens and really endocrine disruptors in general, they're all around us. If we're not actively working to avoid them, we're probably being exposed to way more than we might be aware of. For most women, the biggest sources of exposure are in your kitchen. Plastic food storage containers and plastic water bottles are a big source of exposure. So slowly start swapping over for glass, stainless steel, ceramic, and silicone. Non-stick pans are another big source of exposure. So replace those again with cast iron or stainless steel or a ceramic pan. And also a lot of women are exposed through conventional cleaning products, conventional skincare, and conventional beauty products. So like I said, slowly start switching out those toxic products that contain endocrine disruptors for non-toxic clean brands. Tip number 7 is to get regular exercise, but don't overdo it. So exercise boosts blood flow to the ovaries and the uterus, which promotes healthy egg maturation. And it also helps promote embryo implantation. However, there's a fine line between doing enough exercise and overdoing it. So I always recommend aiming for a balance of cardio, strength training, and flexibility. So we're not overdoing, especially the high intensity cardio and the long duration cardio. We're making sure that it's balanced with plenty of restorative exercise like strength training, yoga, Pilates, maybe some outside walking. It's a good idea to be active more days of the week than you're inactive, and also take a rest day every week so that you have time to recover and you're not in that up energy state all the time. Tip number 8, get plenty of omega-3 fats. And omega-3 fats are primarily found in cold water fatty fish. So stick to wild caught and low mercury fatty fish. And a great way to remember which ones those are is to think of the acronym SMASH. SMASH stands for salmon, mackerel, anchovies, sardines, and herring. If you're like me and the only one you like from that list is salmon, that's okay. Stick with the salmon. Wild caught river trout is also a good source of omega 3s. Now, omega 3 fats have actually been shown to delay ovarian aging and to improve rates of pregnancy. So, I recommend getting 2 to 3, 4 to 6 ounce servings of those low mercury cold water fatty fish per week, again, wild caught. And you can also supplement the omega 3 fats with plant based sources. So maybe on a daily basis, you're having 2 tablespoons of walnuts, chia seeds, or ground flax seeds to just get a little more of an omega 3 boost on a regular basis. Tip number 9 to improve your egg quality fast naturally is to support healthy thyroid function. And poor thyroid health, and especially high TSH or thyroid stimulating hormone, is linked to impaired egg quality. It's also linked to suboptimal fertility in general. Now, most thyroid conditions are autoimmune in nature, and autoimmunity typically stems from suboptimal gut health. So, you'll want to stick to an anti inflammatory diet. And that means keeping an eye on the inflammatory foods. The biggies are going to be gluten, dairy, added sugars, and vegetable oils. Try to keep those to a minimum, especially if you know or suspect that thyroid health is an issue for you. In addition to that, we need to have plenty of micronutrients that support thyroid health in our diet regularly. So, especially selenium, zinc, iron, B vitamins, magnesium, and omega 3 fats. You don't want to be deficient in any of those, and we need a steady intake of those micronutrients coming in. Tip number 10 is to supplement with CoQ10. And really, study after study has demonstrated coenzyme Q10's ability to improve egg quality and reverse cellular damage. So, CoQ10 is an antioxidant, so it helps with that cellular wear and tear and cellular cleanup. And CoQ10 is also critical for mitochondrial function. Mitochondria is your cell's energy house or powerhouse. Now, I see mitochondrial health, poor mitochondrial health, as a factor in infertility pretty commonly. It's also a route that most conventional doctors are not going to look into when it comes to infertility. So, with CoQ10, I recommend choosing a ubiquinol supplement. That's going to give you the best absorption. And also consider adding foods that are rich in CoQ10 into your diet on a regular basis. Organ meats are going to give you the biggest bang for your buck there, especially grass-fed or pastured liver. You can also focus on fatty fish, meats, broccoli, pistachios, and sesame seeds. Tip number 11 is to nix the blue lights before bed. Ideally, 2 to 3 hours before bedtime, you're going to turn off your electronics, phones, TV, laptop, switch them to night mode, or wear blue light blocking eyeglasses. And this is because blue light interferes with melatonin production. Now, you're probably used to thinking of melatonin as the hormone that is responsible for circadian rhythm. And yes, it is so important for our sleep, and we need enough melatonin to get quality sleep. But melatonin is also a natural antioxidant, and it does play into egg health. So, studies show that women who have lower levels of melatonin actually have worse outcomes of IVF cycles. That's really interesting, and that's huge. You want to make sure you're doing everything you can to support healthy melatonin levels. So, nixing the blue lights 2 to 3 hours before bed, and also getting at least 10 to 15 minutes of morning sunlight is really crucial for melatonin production. You can supplement with melatonin as well. Ask your doctor or the person that you're working with about maybe taking 3 milligrams of melatonin nightly before bed. However, you don't want the supplement to interfere with your body's ability to produce its own natural melatonin. So I recommend taking 1 week off of supplementing per month, or 1 day off of supplementing per week, so that your body can keep up with its own production. Tip number 12, maintain a healthy weight. That means not being over or underweight, because both of those are going to create oxidative stress, which harms cell health. We already know that obesity is a leading cause of infertility. That's partly because of the negative impact that it has on egg quality and ability to fertilize. But being underweight can be just as harmful to your hormonal and fertility health. Tip 13 is to keep your blood sugar levels stable. High glucose levels over time can be damaging to many organs and body systems, and it turns out it's not good for your egg quality either. In fact, studies show that diabetics undergoing egg retrieval and IVF experience lower quality eggs and embryos and lower rates of implantation, as well as hormone shifts that lead to suboptimal fertility. So, a glucose imbalance really does play into fertility in a big way. Now, you can support stable blood sugar levels by eating healthy fat, protein, and fiber at every meal, and really keeping the white carbs, the white flours, and those added sugars to a minimum. Additionally, when you're snacking, don't eat those carbs alone. Have some healthy fat and or protein with every snack to keep your blood sugar nice and stable. Tip number 14 is to manage stress. And I'm sure you already know that cortisol is no good for your hormone health and your fertility. Now, when it comes to egg quality, studies show that cortisol can impact the function of follicular cells and reduce estradiol production. And that can lead to lower quality eggs being produced over time. Remember to address both the mental and the physical stressors in your life. So, those 5 weekly HIIT classes that you're taking, probably not great for the through the roof cortisol production. And work to find a healthy outlet for the mental and emotional stressors that you're not able to get rid of. Tip number 15 is to consider supplementing with DHEA. And this is a great conversation to have with your fertility team. DHEA is an adrenal hormone that we produce naturally that helps us make certain sex hormones, including estrogen and testosterone. Now, as we age, DHEA levels tend to decline, but it seems that those lower levels of DHEA are a factor in egg aging. Studies show that DHEA can be especially helpful in women with a low ovarian reserve and can help increase the number of eggs retrieved during an IVF cycle and boost egg and embryo quality. It can also increase the chances of pregnancy and reduce rates of miscarriage. It's important to know that DHEA should only be taken under the supervision of your doctor because it is a hormone precursor. So there you have it, my top 15 tips to boost your egg quality quickly and naturally. Of course, working with a functional fertility expert can really help boost your chances of a healthy pregnancy and getting pregnant sooner. So all you have to do is click the link below to book a complimentary 30-minute Discover call with me. We'll talk about your fertility goals, we'll troubleshoot some potential obstacles, and we'll outline your personal path for success. Thank you so much for watching this video, and stay tuned for more hormonal fertility and prenatal health tips from Shine Total Wellness.